What's up, guys? Welcome back to Viewer Castles. Today we're going to start off with Raymond. Castle levels of 30. He's got this archer that he validated it with. You can see the high hit points on this archer. Really good gear. Also, control resistance is also another thing that I think is pretty valuable. So, Raise Dead helps with tankiness also, because you have just creatures that are taking damage for you. I just want to look at his gear because I'm looking for what I need to upgrade the most. Armor is what gives you like the majority of your hit points. You can almost take 0 DPS on your armor and just get a big chunk of your hit points out of that. And then just like slight DPS increases with health on his gear. Really high hit point amulet. I think my rings are slightly better than his. In terms of DPS, he's got DPS rings, and I think mine are slightly better. But his overall hit point gear is a lot higher than mine. He's got fairly similar resistances, but he's got almost 1,200 more hit points than me, so it's pretty crazy. All right, so let's jump into it and take a look at what he's got in here. I've been dying to a lot of castles recently, so I'm trying to figure out what exactly I need to upgrade so that I can make that stop happening, especially level 30s. I do have some gear upgrades at level 30, but I'm not sure if it's going to be substantial enough to, like, you know, fix the fact that I'm losing to these castles. I also switched out for bear traps instead of my other ability, the spiral shot. The mobility is nice, but against things like webmasters, I'm thinking that bear traps are going to be a lot better. I'll just let that derp escape. There's no point in taking extra trap damage trying to kill it. The only problem is that I have to wait for my roll cooldown a lot more often, and I keep forgetting to do that. But bear traps are basically instant casting, so you can pretty much just cast them as you're like fighting. And as long as you're facing the right direction, they'll be useful. I'm not getting anything done here. I need to get out of this area so I can kite stuff back. I think the main thing that leads to my deaths are like silences, and me not noticing that I'm silenced, and also just like when I'm moving, I hold down my mouse button instead of just clicking once. And I think when I mouse over a unit, I stop to attack instead of like continually running. I'd prefer to be able to hold down shift every time I want to attack, rather than having it attack automatically, because that leads to a lot of my deaths also. So I'm guessing that there's just going to be a huge boss room with a ton of stuff in it at the end of this. And I'm probably going to die because I've used way too many potions already. There's just one dampener out there. I wish I could kill it from here. I think I can headshot it. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so there's the boss. I'm just going to aggro him, because I know he's going to pull a bunch of minions, and then I can just start kiting back from here. Oh, that was a terrible volley. It looks like it got caught on the mine. I didn't think that that gave like collision for abilities. I thought that you could shoot over mines always. Maybe they changed that though. Alright, I'm gonna have to use my last potion here. Which means if I take too much damage from this, I'm just gonna end up losing, because I won't be able to. Yeah, I'm gonna just die anyway. Alright, so I'm gonna heal up and just finish it. I was trying to get through without dying. Like I said, I've been dying to a lot of castles. Probably more than I've ever died in Mighty Quest. And I think it's just because I can't use the highest level potions because there's no use of them. Like, I don't have enough hit points to actually make use of all of the hit point. Like, I'm coming into castles with maybe 4,000 less hit points in my inventory just because of that, which is like a life. It's like an entire life bar on most people. Sometimes even more. A lot of people don't have 4,000 life. So if I could get up to like 3,400 to 3,600, somewhere in that range, I'd be pretty happy with that amount of hit points, and then maybe slightly more physical. And I think magic resistance is actually more important than physical right now, because a lot of what's going to be damaging you is traps, because you have to stop to attack. Although I guess spike traps are there, and mouse wheel traps are physical as well. I think ballistas are where most of the damage comes from. So I really just needed to kill that stuff right at the end of there. I was pretty close to being able to do it without dying. In terms of improvement in this castle, I mean, it's just kind of a straightaway with the same setup over and over and over again. So if someone gets good at just not taking damage to that, they're going to be able to get through your castle fairly easy. There's a lot of different setups that you can do at level 30 that are pretty decent. They're kind of boring because, like, a lot of them, like, you have the mouse wheel setup where you have that room with the 2 exits on, like, the one end, the long hallway with, like, smaller chokes, and then a big exit on each end, and you just use the smaller entrance, choke that up, and then put a bunch of mouse wheels and 2 mines on each end. That's a little weak to volley, but it works. And then something that I've been dying to a lot is just webmaster spam. I think that's really good against archers, probably not so good against mages and knights. Probably more so knights, but mages can, they have probably the best AoE in the game, so when you use boss rooms that have just like all of your points in the boss room, they're obviously going to be strong at just like DPSing that stuff down. But webmasters, in my opinion, are really difficult for archers to deal with because as long as you don't let them have a lot of room to kite back, they're just going to take damage, and then you have a couple Zeeks that, if they hit their shots off of the webmasters, will kill them instantly. And even if you don't kill them instantly, like, webmasters have enough hit points that I think they can survive long enough to just like take down people's hit point potions. So that's another thing that I've noticed. But either way, pretty good castle. We'll jump into number 2 in just a second. Alright, next up we have spacetits. I've ran this castle before, but obviously it's going to be a different castle. But I've ran this this person's castle before. Probably validated on this mage, even though it's his lowest level. It's actually his highest geared person. Tons of magic resist, that's kind of the mage's thing, and then decent DPS and decent health for level 26. Should be a fairly easy castle to get through just because it's lower level than me. But we'll take a look and see.
Let's go to work.
Alright, so all your mines in the beginning, I think they removed the like healing effect on mines for knights and mages. That's what I've been told. I don't really play knight or mage, so I don't really know. But I guess you don't have to have them in the beginning or the end of your castle. You can kind of put them throughout, and it won't be a disadvantage if you're going up against a knight or a mage. Alright, so what I think I want to do is try to get in this jelly wall and just throw a volley in here if I can. And that should pull something if there's anything in there. Which I did see something light up, so there was. I'm trying to do these castles a little bit more smart. And just like try to intelligently pull mobs and not die the best I can. Even if it takes a little bit longer and I'm not able to beat the time. Although a 4-minute timer means you probably want to do the castle the normal way, because if you run straight to the boss room you'll probably end up dying, since the timer's so long. Although a lot of castles, if you can beat them normally, you can beat them just by running to the boss room also, and just a little bit quicker. I don't know. That's in my opinion, just because if someone uses a lot of traps, actually this is the boss room right here, so it isn't everything in the boss room type castle. And I think what I want to do is just pull a bunch of this, which is probably about half the boss room, and then pull it back. And that's definitely what he did to get through this castle as well. That's why the timer is so long. Because only having, 2 rooms and spending 4 minutes on it means you probably pulled it back through to like the entrance area. So that's what I'm going to do to try to get it through it. There's not a ton of damage over by those mouse wheels to prevent you from kiting back. If you wanted to improve and you're able to actually run your own castle and do that correctly, then you would want to make this choke a little bit stronger in terms of damage. If someone gets stunned, punish them by having a bunch of ballistas around. You only have, you know, 1 or 2 ballistas in here, and that's the real damage that's going to come out of this. Mouse wheels do a fair bit, but it's really the ballistas that are going to deal the damage. And they're only going to deal about 300 combined damage when you get hit by them. But if you added this up to, you know, 400 or 4 ballistas, that's 600 damage. And if you just keep going up from there, I mean, it just gets crazy amounts of damage every time someone kites through and gets hit by one of these mouse wheel traps. So it starts to make it a lot less worth it, and people won't kite your mobs back. That's really the only way to stop people from kiting mobs. Alright, I'm just going to use a potion because I have 4 and I've pretty much completed halfway. Now that I've created a little bit of space for myself, where I'm able to fight in this little area with only like 1 trap, and some areas like here where there's 0 trap pressure on me, I can fight in this like zone and just pull mobs towards me. And because everything's in the boss room and I don't see a boss yet, not saying that there isn't one because I haven't gotten really that far, I might be able to skip a lot of this, which is something you should always look for. Like right here, I might be able to squeak by this, but I don't think I actually ended up pulling way too much. But that's fine. I mean, I didn't pull too much, like I won't die to it, but I won't be able to skip nearly as much because of that. Alright, let's throw down some bear traps, just because I want to get better at using those again. I used to use them all the time. And then when Open Creation came out, I switched to Spiral Shot for the extra mobility to get through traps quicker. And I think that Spiral Shot is a lot less, I wouldn't say reliable, but it's like not as good at killing things quickly, I guess. It's more about trying to dodge, and that's like your form of crowd control, is just dodging things. Bear traps, I don't know, they seem like they protect you a little bit better, and that's kind of what I think I need. Alright, so I'm able to skip, I think, the rest of this. Yeah. So that's just because you don't have a boss in the boss room. If you have a boss and the aggro circle is covering everything, then you can get away with, you know, having nothing be able to be skipped. But since it's like this, you can skip at least one side if you just work down one of the sides of the boss room, which is the disadvantage of that strategy. But either way, yeah, I think the main thing to improve the defense is to just make that choke better so that they can't kite back. And then, I don't know, I think the all in the boss room strategy like gets better as you get closer to level 30, and I think level 30 is where it's strongest right now because of Webmasters. I think they have really good like crowd control for the attacker, so he gets knocked down and then you can set up shots on the Zeke and stuff like that, which works a little bit better. But we're going to jump into number 3 in just a second. Alright, and lastly we have 26 BAM, cast levels of 24, validated on this this knight, and like you can see, a level 24 knight has way more tankiness than my level 29 archer. His DPS is like, you know, half as much as mine, but that tankiness really helps you get through castles, I think, more so than DPS now. And I think the main reason for that is because of the amount of traps you can have. You know, you can do these sorts of things. It would be super hard for me to validate a castle that's like this at level 29. I would die so many times. Because I can't tank through the traps as much. And traps aren't going to drop health globes, creatures are. And even more so with the change to like the drops on creatures, I think that's even more the reason that you need health rather than DPS. Because killing stuff quickly isn't going to net you like health regen, basically, like it used to. You know, if you could just kill through this group without taking hardly any damage, you could just heal yourself up from that. But now you have to kind of focus more on potions, because that's like your main form of healing. And then obviously if you're a knight or a mage, you can heal yourself up off of like leaving this Robo Shieldatron alive. I would do that if I was a mage or a knight, because I can use that after the battle's over to heal myself back up. And of course I get my orange and purple drops at the low level castles, because that's Mighty Quest for you. Oh man, alright. It's alright, most of them are very bad. Like, you rarely get a good drop. It's been a long time since I've gotten a gear upgrade in this game. Alright, I wasn't able to volley across that. I was pretty sure that I wasn't going to be able to, but I just wanted to test it anyway. You can if you, like, get knocked down enough and your stun immunity goes up, you can just like auto attack or something to pull this. There's a ton of archers in there. I'm actually glad that I pulled that exactly like that, you know. Because if I would have walked in there and all those archers shot me, that would have been a ton of damage. Trying to just get them to come out and then volley them down. Smelly archers should almost always die to a one-shot volley. And I think that's what I need to look at, is how much DPS do I need to one-shot volley like some of the weak trash mobs in the games. Because I think that's the most important thing. And that's really all the DPS you need. You don't need to one-shot volley like a Pete Palmore or something like that. You don't need that kind of DPS. Alright, there's no traps in here, so I'm just going to go to the back of the castle here. But you do need to one-shot volley things like archers. Smelly warriors are even hard to one-shot volley. Stairmasters sometimes don't die to one-shot volleys. So I think really it's just the weakest of them, like Snotters obviously, Derps, Vamps, you want to be able to one-shot volley those, because if they get on you as an archer, you need to be able to just volley yourself and just kind of run around and like drop bear traps and just try to keep the damage off of you. If they stay alive past that, you're probably going to die because they have pretty high DPS already. But yeah, pretty good castle. You can kind of see what I did to kite things and stuff like that, and you can try to maybe add more ballistas next to those mouse wheel traps or something, just to punish the person if they want to kite it the way that I did. It was level 24, so even if it looked easy, it's not going to be as easy for level 24 people. But I think that's pretty much it. We're at number 3, so we're going to end the video here. As always, if you guys enjoy what I do, please subscribe. If you want to be a part of Eurocast, you can email me at frenzycastleruns@hotmail.com. I will pretty much be able to do new castles by the end of the week. I have this episode today, and then I have 3 more that I have to record, and I just updated it on the 27th, so yesterday. So I shouldn't have really any new emails, so if you're interested in having me run your castles, just shoot me an email and I'll put you on the list. You can see that list in the description. There's a little Google spreadsheet where I kind of throw the names in, and just you'll be able to see when your castle is going to be ran. I try to do one a day, but probably towards the end of the week I won't be doing like as many Mighty Quest videos. I'll probably still do a bunch of them, but Survive the Forest is coming out, so I'm going to probably do a playthrough of that. I felt like there was another game. I think the Stomping Land comes out the same day. I'm not sure if I'm going to grab that or not, because I'm not sure how good it's going to be, since it's early access and it's one of those you know, multiplayer survival games, and they can tend to be very buggy at the beginning of when they're launched. So I'll probably watch some streams and see how good the game is, and if it looks like fun, I might pick that up. And I don't know, maybe I'll do something with the viewers if anybody's going to pick that game up as well. But I'm not sure about that one. Either way, that's going to be the end of the video. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.